Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have an unboxing video, but it's not a true unboxing. I got an item from Fashionphile, and if you watched my very last video, I ordered a Speedy Bandolier 25 in the damier bin, so spoiler, that was what I unboxed in my last video, and I have since returned it. I actually returned it the very next day, and I won't go into further details, so you can go ahead and watch that video if you missed it. I'll link it down below in the description box. But long story short, I got a Made in USA Speedy Bandolier 25. That wasn't great, so I returned it. Then I got a Made in France one, and that wasn't great, so I returned it. Then I went ahead and I ordered this from Fashionphile, so I think you can guess what it is, although it's slightly different. And this is something that it's a bag that has been haunting me for years, for decades actually. And so I'm going to quickly reveal. Dun, 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 dun. This is the Speedy, the classic, not the Bandolier version. And as you can see, it's from Fashionphile. I bought it pre-loved for a really good price in excellent condition, under $1,000, and this is the older model. So this is a year 2015, and I did the math. By the time my daughter turns 20, this bag will be considered a vintage, so I definitely plan on passing this down to her. Well, all of my bags will probably be hers at some point, but let me quickly take out the paper here. And the reason why I wanted this particular bag, there were a ton of Speedies at all different price ranges and all different conditions listed on Fashionphile as well as other pre-loved sites. But I knew that for the classic version, I absolutely wanted an older bag. Not too old, because I didn't want the vachetta to be way too patinaed and beat up. I wanted it to be worn in, but not worn out, if that makes any sense. So as you can see, there's slight patina on the vachetta here, but no marks, no stains, no nothing. It looks absolutely pristine. The tabs as well here. This one is a Made in France. Now I got a lot of heat from some of you in my last video with comments around like, why am I so picky? Why do I even care what country these pieces are made in? And I just wanted to address that here. Number one, I had to delete a comment or multiple comments from one person because she was cursing and swearing and being very, very rude. And I asked her nicely, could you just take out the swear words? Could you just not curse here? Because my children sometimes read the comments with me. They sometimes watch YouTube with me, and I don't want them to see this. And she wrote back, I don't give a shit. So I deleted her entirely, and hopefully she doesn't come back because clearly no one has taught her manners. I don't mind having differences of opinions. I love the dialogue we have in the comment section, and I'm always game for answering questions, but I didn't like the disrespect and the rudeness, so I just deleted her from the YouTube universe. Maybe she'll come back. I'll still delete her again and again. And I hope that she doesn't think that in my next giveaway she can enter because I remember her name. All right, so why do I care if it's made in France or anywhere else? Number one, I just prefer Made in France. Psychologically, it's totally irrational. Psychologically, because this is a French house. So for both Louis Vuitton and Chanel, I just prefer the Made in France stamp. That's where the companies come from. That's where the heritage is, the history is. So it's just a purely personal preference with no rhyme or reason. Secondly, I know that because a lot of these classic pieces are being made out of the USA, and I am an American, born and raised, so I'm a proud American. But a lot of the classic pieces are being made here, and many of them in the Texas-based facility. So the Made in France pieces are becoming fewer and fewer, and therefore more and more sought after. And so if ever I decided to sell any of my bags, they would probably be higher in resale value with the Made in France stamp. Not that I put a lot of weight on that because I don't buy my bags to sell them, but you never know, I might fall out of love with one of them and then wind up selling, as I have sold a few bags in the past. So that's the other reason. And then lastly, I have been a little bit scarred because the last two items that I purchased from Louis Vuitton, not the last two, but there were two items that I purchased from Louis Vuitton that were made in USA. First was the key pouch, and I wound up getting a second one. It's this one here, the key pouch in the damier bin. So this one here I got made in USA at first, and I talked about it. It was just really poor quality. I won't go into detail, but I returned it, and then I got this one made in France, and I'm really happy with it. Then I got the first Speedy Bandolier 25. online, again, made in USA. I didn't talk about this in my last video because I thought, why bother? I had already returned it. But when I opened it up on the inside, you know, with the damier bin, when you open it up, there's that beautiful pop of red. But when I opened up, there was white residue along the insides and also where the zipper compartment was. I believe it's glue, but as much as I rubbed it, it wasn't budging, it wasn't coming out. And so that definitely just turned me off, and so I returned that within like the hour. And then I got the second Speedy Bandolier 25, and you guys know, if you watched my last video, it was a made in France piece, but I was not happy with the zipper. So here I'm going to just show you, even though this is a classic and it's got a slightly longer zipper opening here, you see how it's pretty straight. Well, if you watched my Instagram stories a couple days ago, I put some close-up photos of that zipper on the damier bin bandolier version, and it was really wavy and wonky. And some of you said, oh, it'll straighten out over time. But others of you were kind enough to reach out to me and say, oh my gosh, my bag was exactly like that, and I really regret not returning it because even after years of using it, it's never straightened out. I do think that the zipper is a huge component of a bag, and I don't want to settle. So for those of you who may have been criticizing me for being too picky, that's okay. You're absolutely entitled to your own opinions. I just know what will make me happy. I never ever settle. These are not items that I have to have in my life. I'm not dying to have them. I'm not desperate to have any of these pieces. Either they work for me or they don't work for me. And if they don't, they just go back. So if that makes me picky, that's fine. I have plenty of other places that I can spend my money on. I don't need to give it to Louis Vuitton for poorly crafted pieces. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm now going to just get into this bag. I know I've been talking for a few minutes, but I wanted to address some of the issues that came up in my last video. And frankly, I wanted to also explain myself because some of you made some assumptions that I only care about made in France. And that's not true because I chose made in Spain pieces over France pieces with my toiletry pouches because personally, I found that the made in Spain canvas was nicer overall, and the made in France pieces that I received were very dull and matte and had sort of like a grayish undertone. So these are all things that I talked about, but I know sometimes when you're watching a video, you kind of skip around and you might miss some details. So just wanted to reiterate, it's kind of hard to see the inside here, but it's that beautiful chestnut brown, and because this is a 2015 version, it doesn't have the zipper, it's just the open pocket. And then it has the accompanying lock and key. And from what I understand, each lock and key set goes specifically with each bag. So you don't mix and match them. So I'm assuming that's the right set for this bag. And I will say right out the gate, the first thing that caught my eye was just how beautiful the vachetta leather is. Slightly patinaed, but not too much. I actually prefer slightly patinaed vachetta on the Speedies for some reason. Like on my Pochette Matisse, I love that it was like virgin light colored vachetta, and then over time it has patinaed a little bit, but I love that virgin color. But with the Speedies, I don't know why I prefer the patinaed look. I just didn't want it to be so patinaed, like 10, 20 years in, where it's so worn in that, you know, by the time I get it, it feels old. So this to me feels new-ish. It's in great condition, and it's broken in a little bit. As you can see, the wrinkles here also pretty much a little bit. You can see a little bit of wrinkles, but you know the way Louis Vuitton ships out or packs up their Speedies, it's very much smushed like a pancake, and there are lots of wrinkles, which I know eventually will come out, but I love the fact that it's already been kind of, you know, ironed out a bit with use. I don't even know if the previous owner used this bag very much because there's like no signs of wear, not in the corners or anything. I have to say I was totally influenced to go for the classic version because of Audrey Hepburn and all of her iconic photos of her with her Speedy. I feel like for me personally, the monogram goes best on the classic version, whereas I think the damier bin has more of a fun sporty look with the bandolier version. So I will tell you that I did order another Bandolier 25 in the damier bin. I ordered it pre-loved, also from Fashionphile, made in France. So as soon as that arrives, it should be arriving tomorrow. As soon as that arrives, I'll share it with you guys for sure. I am a little bit conflicted because I think this bag is absolutely beautiful. And like I said, I plan to pass it down to my daughter. But I'm conflicted about two things. Number one, I've always made it sort of a rule that I would never duplicate any bags. And even with my Chanel collection, I have similar looking black Chanel bags, but they're not the same. With this, I feel like if I keep the classic Speedy monogram, and then I wind up also falling in love with the bandolier version tomorrow in the damier bin. I know they're slightly different. One has a strap, one doesn't. They have different prints. But to me, I'm sort of duplicating. So I don't know if I want to keep both or if I want to make that tough decision and just choose one. I guess I'll decide tomorrow when the damier bin bandolier arrives. It'll be easier for me to choose kind of with them both standing side by side. In the meantime, let me put some things inside this one here so you can see. So I've got my, I was going to say multi-pochette, my mini pochette in the damier bin, my pink O case, my sunglasses. I probably would not carry this around, but just to show you, this is my PM-sized cosmetic pouch. Everyone here on YouTube says that the Speedies are like a big black hole and they fit so much, and I'm finding that to be absolutely true. Here's my coin purse. Here's just my phone case since I film with my phone. Here's my key pouch, and I will absolutely get a organizer because otherwise it's just kind of a mess. And then some tissues, so I can probably pack a lot more in there, but I just wanted to show you the zipper is really straight. And I hate sag factor, but on the 25 there really is no sag, as you can see. I just want to get the organizer because it'll be easier for me to access my items versus sort of rummaging around. So yeah, it's kind of hard to see like this, but there you have it. And my small mini umbrella should fit as well. I will, if I decide to keep this, which I think I am, I will spray all of the vachetta with the apple guard so that I don't fuss about getting caught in the rain. I wear my pochette Matisse that has the vachetta top handle. I wear that in the rain and I never worry, so that's probably what I will do. I also wanted to show you, because I noticed there weren't a lot of reviews out there comparing these two. I kind of feel like my Givenchy Antigona, this is the mini size, has like a similar vibe, similar shape. Not exactly, but similar resemblance to the classic Speedy. And so because there weren't a lot of comparison videos that I could find, I thought I'd just give you a quick look here. If you're interested in a proper in-depth comparison video of these two, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll certainly make it a priority to do that in a follow-up. So here it is. Here it is from the side. So the Speedy 25 is definitely bigger and roomier, but it has some similarities. This one here, the Givenchy Antigona, at least in the mini size, I can wear it in the crook of my arm, but it's not as comfortable or natural looking as the Speedy. It has a little bit more space here for your arm. And then I also wanted to mention that I'm feeling a little bit nostalgic. For those of you who are regulars here, you might be thinking, what is she doing? She doesn't really like top handle bags. It's true. Even with my Givenchy Antigona, I usually wear this on my shoulder or crossbody. And you guys know that I am a crossbody bag girl. But I say that I'm feeling nostalgic because my very first designer handbag or luxury handbag was this piece here that is ancient now, vintage Gucci bowler bag. I don't even know the proper name, but it's so beat up because I literally abused it. But this I wore as a top handle bag or in the crook of my arm. And then after that one, I got this Prada one. This is all like in my younger days, 20s, college, that sort of thing. This one here that I keep for sentimental reasons because my husband got this for me when we were dating or engaged, or I think dating because we were dating in college. I don't remember anymore, but it's old. It's either vintage or nearly vintage. So I was a huge fan of top handle bags, and then obviously my lifestyle changed and I had kids and I wanted to be hands-free, and it's so much easier running around Manhattan with a crossbody bag. But I feel like I'm kind of going back in time with this one. Like I said, the Speedy has always haunted me and has never left my mind. So I know that as the prices continue to go up, I feel like might as well just get one now. It's not like I can't pass it down to my daughter, or it's not like I can't just sell it at some point. So I'm not worried about it. And I have seen so many wonderful videos on YouTube where I see like 20, 30, 40-year-old Speedies, and they are so good. They hold up and they're durable, and maybe you need to get like the tab repaired or something small like that, but I love how durable and strong the canvas is. I know that some of the canvas can be really stiff and rigid or super flimsy and thin. Not all canvas is the same. Quality varies. And I have heard that recently from a lot of the made in USA pieces, especially on the pochette métis, the canvas is really rigid, really rough. So I am glad that I got my pochette métis earlier. It is a made in France. It's got really nice canvas, but that's also, the first thing I noticed was the vachetta here, but then the second thing I checked for was the canvas, because some canvas just feels a little bit off, and also the color, because I feel like not all monogram, I should say, has like a really nice rich brown color. Not all have this really nice contrast in the monogram design. Some are duller, some are more subtle in the contrast, and I like mine just like this. Super brown, no grayish undertones, super brown, and I don't know if it's picking up properly on camera here, but to the naked eye, it's really, really brown. It's like a chocolatey brown, and then it has a really nice monogram contrast. So it just, I don't know, it's kind of like a gut thing. Like you see it, you feel it, and you just know. Whereas with the other Speedy Bandoliers that I had, like immediately out of the box, I was like, something feels a little weird. Someone said it best on my last video. She commented that it's probably not just the zipper that was bothering me on the Bandolier 25. She said it's probably just that overall the entire bag is underwhelming and you're not really impressed. And I felt like, you know what? I think so. Like the zipper really bothered me because it was so wonky. But even aside from that, there was no like wow factor for me. I don't know why. It's hard to explain. I think if you're a true handbag lover, you just know, right? If you're watching this video, you probably can relate to this. You take a bag out and you feel it and you kind of go, yep, that's my bag. Or you go, I don't know. And you sort of, something feels off. So that's why I returned the Speedy Bandoliers. I hope all of this is interesting and helpful to you. If you're just as picky as me, then hopefully you can relate to this and you find some of this information to be useful. If you are more like go with the flow, you don't really fuss over the details, and you think I'm too OCD, I get that too, and I respect that. Sometimes I wish I could be a little bit more relaxed with these things, but like I said, I just don't settle. And it's not just with handbags. I don't settle on anything. I don't settle on things for my kids. I don't settle with my career. I don't settle for my kids' education. I don't settle for clothes. I also don't settle when I buy things from like Target. So it's just me, my personality, and I hope you can understand that and just be forgiving of that. So please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it in some shape or form. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, I would love for you to consider joining by hitting that subscribe button. And I guess my next video, I will follow up with my Speedy Bandolier. Thanks so much, guys. Bye-bye.